Do not judge a book by its cover. Now, we always say this phrase usually when it's somebody that you think might be bad or some negative thing you might assume, and then you realize the opposite. But I want to point out how it also happens in the reverse as well. And today I'm going to be talking about Jerry Harris, who is a very famous cheerleader, also was a character, or not really character, was on the TV show Cheer. He cheered for, I believe it was the Cheetahs, which is a massive cheerleading group, and also Navarro Cheer, which is obviously one of the teams that the Cheer series on Netflix is following. And I've kind of wanted to talk about this for ages, like honestly since the whole allegation started, but I'm glad I waited until now, because when they talked about this in Cheer, and I wanted to see what they were going to have to say, I wanted to see what Monica was going to have to say, because basically he has gotten into trouble now for, let me quote this correctly. He's got in trouble for sending indecent images to minors, also requesting videos. In fact, he went as far as to pay some of them for these pictures and videos, and he also had sex with a 15-year-old boy at the age of, he would have been 21. So it's crazy that this stuff happens. By the way, guys, if you hear any noise, the roof is getting done, and they're doing it for like, I don't know how long. They're doing it every single day pretty much. So I just figured I'm just going to try and film as best as I can, because I don't want to mess up my filming schedule. And like I said, they're going to be here basically every day, even Saturday and Sunday. So what can you do? So if you hear drilling and stuff, try to focus on my voice. I'll try to not film during the main drilling and stuff. But if it does happen, you know, we're going to have to work with it. Anyways, back to Jerry. So I knew of these allegations, and I knew that he was currently in prison and had officially been arrested. So obviously they found enough evidence to prove that this was happening. And I was disgusted, because for those of you who haven't seen the series, Jerry Harris is actually one of the favorites of people who watch Cheer, because he was a very bubbly character. He did this thing called Mat Talk, where basically he would it's basically like cheerleading people, cheering them on the sidelines, and he was known to do that and do that really well. People really loved him, and he had a kind of a hard life and a difficult story. He lost his mum some years ago, and so he's been being looked after by other people. He's been being looked after by other people. So anyways, I'm just going to talk over it, even though it's really annoying. I hope it doesn't annoy you guys. I hope you guys can focus away from that, because I don't know when I'm going to film, how I'm going to film, if this is going to be going on all the time. And I need to make sure that I'm filming, because I want to be dedicated to my filming. Anywho, so yeah, so he did have a pretty difficult past, to be fair to him. But also the thing is with Jerry is that, you know, he kind of got himself out of it. And the show is very interesting. I like the producers, because they quoted back something he said back in 2019, where he had said if it wasn't for Cheer, he would have gone down a very difficult route, and he'd probably find himself in prison. So it's kind of ended up that way anyways. And the reason why I want to discuss this is mainly because of the fact that he was so well loved by people, and people never expected this from him. And I feel like in society, we are so quick to assume that if somebody looks nice or is nice or gives us good vibes, that they are a good person. And that's just not the case. In fact, a lot of people, and I'm noticing now in the trends that I'm doing, and I'm going to be doing more videos, because another person I'm going to be talking about also in the sporting world, who also has hurt, unfortunately, children through, you know, inappropriate sexual interactions. And again, that person also was seen to be nice as far as the children were concerned. In fact, one of the girls who talked about this person had said how she particularly liked this man because he was nicer than like all the other people. So that's why I think it's so important for us not to just get caught up in the fact that somebody's nice. And remember that we're all, and this is why I said in a previous video that we're all capable of anything. We are actually all capable of anything. And it's up to us to do what we choose to do. Ultimately, there are things that you might never do. But the fact is, you choose not to do them. You could choose to do them. you know. So I want to talk about this Jerry Harris thing. There were 2 twin brothers who came forward. I believe they were 13 when this stuff was happening, and they had been contacted by, one of them had been contacted by Jerry asking, you know, can you send me some stuff? Like, yeah, he'd asked, I'm not even going to get into the details, but he'd basically asked for a picture from them, right? And so this young 13-year-old, and again, it's an abuse of power, because they were thinking, well, this is somebody who I look up to. This is somebody who inspires me. These were boys in cheerleading. He's a boy in cheerleading. And so they felt like they should do this stuff, you know. But eventually, I guess they started to feel really uncomfortable, as you do. And this is why children need to be protected, because as a child, you don't fully understand what's acceptable, what isn't acceptable, what's right, what's wrong. You don't really get it yet. And a lot of people, they only can fully understand it when they look back as an adult and they realize that they were actually abused. And so this guy went along with it. There were other things that happened. His brother was also mentioned, but I don't know what particularly took place with his brother. But it went as far as that they went to a cheerleading competition and Jerry was there, and one of these boys were there. Their names are Sam. Actually, I'm going to not mention the other one's name, or even their names again, because they're still children. You know, if you want to find out, you can. If they want to share that, that's fine. They have, but I'm just going to leave that out, I think. But these twin, the main twin, I guess, that the one that I heard he had been contacting, he claims that Jerry had taken him to the toilets and asked him if he wanted to have sex. Like, this is at a cheerleading competition, and he said that he had repeatedly said no. So I think when a lot of people are saying, you know, there's a lot of victim shaming that goes on. There's a lot of things that people try to say to the victims about what they should have done differently. They shouldn't have done anything differently. A lot of people should have said no. If they say no, no should be enough. If they're a child, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if they said yes. You don't interact with that, because you're supposed to understand as an adult person that you have the responsibility to look after them. And so it's just very sad that, again, we're seeing these things happening in these, you know, these sectors or these places of really well-known people, you know. And he himself was really well-known. He went on Oprah. Did he go on Oprah? He might have come, I don't know if he went on Oprah. He went on Ellen, though. They asked him to host a red carpet show. I mean, he did so many different brand deals. I was watching all the brand deals that he did, and I was like, wow. Imagine all these people that have to take that stuff down now, or all these people who probably have to release apology statements and stuff like that because they were connected to him. And again, it's so interesting how quick people are to be judgmental of certain people who don't off the bat come off really nicely, but a lot of them are just, they are what you see. Like, what you see is what you get. But then with people like him, you know, we're so quick to just receive people into our space. And that's why, for me, I really believe in God, because I believe he gives you discernment to be able to know who you can trust, who you can't. Also, when you meet other people of God, if they are real people of God, you know, even though they are going to be on a journey, they're not going to be perfect. So let me make that clear. There's a much less likely chance they do stuff like this, because they have a real living God working inside of them, who is pushing them away from doing stuff like that, and even being tempted, you know, because we all think that just because we think something's disgusting, everybody does, but it's just not that simple. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up before these people start drilling again, but please do subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I promise not all my videos have people drilling, not even most of my videos. In fact, this is my first video of having drilling in the back on the roof. Don't forget to subscribe, comment in the comment section down below what you guys think about the situation. I'm going to be talking more about this. And also hit the like button if you did enjoy. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in my next one. God bless you. Goodbye.